Got favorite beauty products? That's nice. Figured out the best things to keep the eyes looking fierce? Even better! But highly trained statisticians leading you through the top 10 very best eye products of the year can't beat it. Welcome to the 2015 Emily Awards for Eyes. Hi everyone, welcome back. Thanks for joining me for part 2 of the Emily Awards. Part 1 was Face, so if you missed that, I will make sure to link to it below. And I am doing top 10s this year. I really thought this would kind of challenge me to really look at all of my Emily Awards favorites and say, what are the complete and total must-haves? And so within this top 10, they are all ranked. So we'll work our way up to a #1 eye product in this video. I'm so excited about this. These have honestly been a challenge for me to put together because on my blog I've still sorted out all of my high-end and drugstore favorites for every single category like I've done every year, and now I've got to look at those things and say, how do they truly stack up? Just drugstore, high-end, putting them all together, what's the best? This eye top 10, as I look at my list here, you know, I do have some high-end items working their way in, but this is a pretty drugstore heavy list here, so that's kind of exciting too. Again, if you want to see everything I mention, links to it, links to other reviews that I've done that give you more info on the different things that I'm talking about, head over to beautybroadcast.net. That's where it's all clearly laid out for you. But meanwhile, let's jump into this top 10. Number 10 is an eye primer that I've really been loving, and it was actually kind of a co-favorite with my Milani eyeshadow primer, which I really think is just one of the best primers, best value, performs so much like other high-end ones I've tried. But in the past year, something else has kind of jumped in that's been a really interesting eye primer type product, but it's just so quick and easy to use. And it's from NYC, and it's called the City Proof 24-Hour Eye Primer or Eye Base. This is the base shade. They actually have some colored ones, but this is essentially colorless. It does neutralize the lids a little bit when you put it on, but I love how quick and easy it is. It's just a stick. You just pop it on there, and I feel like powder shadows really adhere to this, and I've had great staying power with it. Now, it seems like every year, for as much planning as I do for the Emily Awards, something swoops in at the tail end. Like something just comes in and says, I'm being a part of this, and I will fall in love with it, and I will have no choice but to include it in the Emily Awards. And I am talking about my Huda lashes. These are from Huda Beauty. I actually got these as a Christmas present, the Samantha No. 7 style, which I am wearing today. I just love the way these look. It's just undeniable. Like, I was thinking about so many other lash styles that I have worn a lot of throughout the year and I have loved, but these, just the thickness, how fluttery they are, just the gorgeous way that they frame the eye. The lash band is really durable, yet it's very flexible too. And I've worn these probably half a dozen times already, and I can already tell they are so nicely forming just to the natural curve of my eye. I love that. And really, when I first got these and looked at them, I thought, okay, these are gonna be more dramatic than I thought. You know, I've seen them on other people, I've seen them a lot on Instagram and stuff, but these look like more of a heavy lash than I was looking for. But then I got them on my eyes and I'm like, no, they're really good. I just love these. I think they are gonna be my special occasion lash. They're gonna be the lash I wear for photos or just anything that's a big deal. And I said in the haul where I got these that I hadn't trimmed them yet, but I did decide to actually go ahead and do that. I just trimmed a little bit off the outermost part, and now I feel like they really perfectly fit my eyes, so I love those. Number 8, my first palette is making it into the top 10, and this is a really basic palette. It could be a nice companion to a lot of different things, but for me actually, I have been so satisfied with the looks that I've gotten just using this on its own. It's just a great quality palette. I love the way these shadows blend. I love the way they go on. It's my Kat Von D Shade and Light Eye Palette. So neutral to the max, definitely. Some warm shades, some cool shades. They're just so smooth, so nice quality. Your light shades are going to be as rich and pigmented as your deepest, darkest shades, and that's what allows one color to kind of blend on top of the next and just give you really flawless looks. If you like using powder shadows as eyeliner, you definitely have some deep and dark enough shades to do that for you. Awesome basic crease colors. I love this peach. I of course love this kind of rusty brownish red down here. It's a beautiful palette. It's a very practical palette, I would say, just in terms of being able to be used fully on its own for a 100% matte look, or pulling in some of your most shimmery pigments and bright colorful shades. So I have been so super pleased with this palette. I remember seeing a lot of hype about it and I held off, I finally got it and I was like, yes, I love it. Number 7, coming in with a drugstore brow product. This is from Maybelline. It used to say, before it wore off, it said brow satin on here, okay? Then the packaging said define and fill. And then I went online and for a while it said brow satin. Now it's changed back to define and fill. So we're gonna call this the Maybelline Define and Fill Duo, whatever. Aside from the naming fiasco, I think this is a great product. You've got basically 2 in 1. You've got an awesome little retractable pencil here that you can use to fill in your brows. And then to create, I don't know, even more softness, or you could use one or the other, layer them both for more staying power if you want to. You've got this little spring-loaded applicator here on the other side that is dipping into powder. And I just love topping my look with this. I feel like the pencil gives me the precision. You know, it gets in those little places where, okay, I've got a bare spot here. I've got something that looks a little different on my right side from my left. So I'm going to use the pencil to make sure that gets filled in. And then you've got this softness of the powder that just kind of goes over everything and really makes them look nice and even. So I have found this to be a quick product to use, an easy product to use. The one thing this does not do is really hold the brows in place. You want to come in with a different like brow gel on top to do something about that. I'll insert the name of the color I have because it's really been dead on for me and it's just been a really convenient product. Number 6, I actually have a tie. They are 2 products. I just couldn't decide which to include in the top 10 in this video, but when it gets right down to it, I think they're both equally important. So the first one I'll mention is my Milani Supreme Kohl Kajal Eyeliner. Comes in one shade called Blackest Black. This is a retractable pencil and it's really just everything that I need from a product like this. I love using it, especially in the inner rim, lower or upper. I feel like it's rich and black. It has good staying power for me. It's also just super creamy if you want to put it on your natural, you know, skin of your upper lash line, let's say. It goes on very easily there. It's a pencil that will set for you. It will not move. It's crazy affordable. Also, I kind of love that the packaging is gold because I throw this in with my other black eyeliners and it's like really easy to grab. I know this is the one I want to use. Now the other thing that tied with this is kind of like the lighter counterpart to the lower inner rim shade, and it's my Milani Shadow Eyes. I really like the whole line of these. There's a gorgeous green that I've used for a lot of different green eye looks that I've done actually over the years. They've just got various shades and they are a long wearing shadow stick. So they're just extremely creamy. They go on, they do set. You have some time to work with them and smudge them out, but trust me, they will set for you. And I've just loved using the almond cream shade in my lower inner rim for brightness. So when I'm not going for like a deep, dark and dramatic look like I'm wearing today, I can just swoop that in there. My eyes look less tired. They look more brightened, more wide awake, and I just love having that. Number 5, this is actually my winner in my overall list for best drugstore eyeshadow formula, and Wet n Wild has had that category on lock for like 5 years or something. I mean, I really do love the quality of the Wet n Wild Color Icon palettes. I think for me, what's kind of been lacking in the past year is they bring in all these limited edition shades that are out for a couple weeks and they're sold out and gone, and I want more like great quality additions to their regular line. So this year I feel like I was noticing another brand really stepping it up in terms of drugstore shadows, putting out great palettes, some great singles as well, but the things I really want to highlight for this number 5 spot in my top 10 are the NYX Avant Pop palettes. I don't know if you remember the video where I mentioned these. I swatched them all out. They are very impressive. They are highly, highly pigmented shadows. I have 3 of them. I pulled a couple of them out to show you. You've got Art Throb here. For those of you who love your really intense shades, I mean, there's a lime green in here. There's a really bright electric blue, and they are what you see is what you get type colors. Truly. I mean, they're gonna look like that on the eyes. And then I really love this palette called Nouveau Chic. I love these neutrals. I love peach and plum together. I mean, this is like a drugstore take on my Bare Minerals Happy Place quad, but with lots of other things to work with as well. So I've just been really impressed as a whole with NYX's eyeshadows, and I think these palettes are just a couple of examples of how the quality has become, I think, really consistent with many of the things that they put out. And I've definitely got some large larger, like really large palettes to tell you about once the Emily Awards are wrapped up and I have a little more time to dig into those. Number 4, I've got another tie. It's a drugstore eyeliner tie. And I mean, guys, this is the kind of thing I sleep on it. I go to bed thinking, which am I gonna pick? And I wake up still thinking, I don't know, it's gotta be a tie. So Jordana Color Envy and Black Envy. My holy grail black liquid eyeliner. It's so basic. I mean, you look at it, it's no frills. The label has worn off on me. I mean, there's nothing to see here really. It's just a black liner with a small brush tip, but it goes on so easily. The staying power is incredible. It looks so black when you put it on first off, but then it locks in for the day, does not fade, just it's a reliable, old faithful eyeliner. I love that. Then I think in the last half of the year, I had stumbled across the Kat Von D tattoo liner, and I really loved it. I thought it was an innovative design. It went on just so easily, and I remembered, I think Physicians Formula has something like that, that's a pen style, but a brush tip pen. And so I've started using this, and I'm in love with it, really. It goes on like an absolute dream, and it's called the Eye Booster. It actually says it's a 2-in-1 lash boosting eyeliner plus serum in here, and I'm not convinced that it's making my lashes any better. I mean, maybe it is. It's hard to tell. But what I really love about it is the tip. It's a teeny tiny brush tip that comes to a perfect point. It applies so much like the Kat Von D tattoo liner. So I feel like I've got a really great find here coming up with something similar to that from the drugstore. And I mean, if you've struggled with applying liquid liners, feeling like you can't get nice even lines, or you want just a really nice fine line, I would say this gives me a more fine line than this one from Jordana. All right, top 3, folks. We've got 3 amazing products. Took a lot of thought kind of jumbling these around, wondering what am I going to settle on for a real top 3. Number 3 is a very impressive eyeshadow formula. It ain't cheap, but it's really good. If you want to go there, I mean, I can't say anything bad about these shadows, and they are from Viseart, and my top pick that I've tried so far from this line is the Sultry Muse palette. I have a lot more information in a recent video that I did where I was really weighing whether or not these palettes were worthwhile, and the more I use this thing, the more I love it. These are gorgeous shades that have anywhere from a satin to a really shimmery and metallic finish. They're so beautiful. In my look today, the one I've been wearing throughout the video, the star of the show is kind of this rosy color here. So I did some matte shades and then I popped that right on the lid. I also used it a little bit on the lower lash line. It's just gorgeous. It's just one of the many things you can do with this palette. One thing that really impressed me was that I can use this palette and this palette alone to get some beautiful looks. I know anybody who thinks, oh, well, it's all shimmer. Well, it's not really, because it's varying levels, and the deeper shades, which would be this color, and this color, can anchor any of these other shades beautifully, and they don't look too shimmery on the eyes to do that. So I love this palette. I mean, we're talking next level, buttery, pigmented. To see them all swatched out, it's like, is that liquid that I'm looking at? Because it is so smooth and shiny and beautiful. Now, number 2, this was the palette that was kind of neck and neck with that one as I was sitting here thinking, what is my number 2 product going to be? I would say the reason why this one that I'm going to mention edged out the Viseart is simply variety. Fun. Not that the Viseart, however you want to say it, palette isn't fun for me to use, because I get much enjoyment out of that one. But when you've got this many shades to play with, I mean, this is awesome. This is the LORAC Mega Pro 2. I enjoy this above the first one that they put out. I know there may be some debate on that, but these are the Emily Awards, so I get to pick. And I love how you've got 2 rows of matte, 2 rows of shimmer. There is so much you can do with this palette. There's so many differing directions you can go in. I love melon and tangerine, okay? I love these purple shades. They're like true purples. The shimmery shades, at a glance you might think, okay, a lot of neutral shimmers, but there's some really interesting things happening. This olivine is like a taupe with a hint of mint green. It's super unique. It is This blue quartz shade here is absolutely dynamite. Today, actually, to kind of surround that pop of shimmer I've got on my lid, I used a lot of Goji and Cabernet, so I used Goji in my crease just to really give it that beautiful soft berry look. I have Cabernet in my outer corner. I also smudged a lot of that on the lower lash line as well. And yeah, I guess it shouldn't really be a surprise that some form of shadow from LORAC is appearing in this video, because for years the LORAC Pro palette, just the original one that's in black, that's just 2 rows, 1 matte, 1 shimmer, I still love that palette for basics, but this has stolen my heart for variety. You may notice a tendency to have a little more fallout than some of the Viseart shades I've talked about, but you know, if you dip in, tap off the excess, it's really no problem. Oh yeah, did I mention there's a forest green in here? Because there is. I just couldn't be more pleased with this palette. I love it. Number 1, the number 1 product. Okay, what has not been mentioned yet in this video? A mascara. And this mascara has been a game changer for me this year. I am one who has lashes that point down. They're not super thick, they're not super long. So when I can find something that makes my lashes stay up, lengthen out, thicken up, it's like, hello, new best friend. And this is the CoverGirl SuperSizer. Those of you who really watch my videos probably aren't shocked by this. A lot of it's the formula. I think a lot of it's the design of the brush for me as well, because this brush is not completely surrounded, the wand is not completely surrounded with bristles. You've got a couple of places on this brush that are totally bare, and it does hold a little bit of product. It's not like gooped up with product, but the thought is that you can get one of those flat sides on your lashes and then kind of extend on through with the other sides that have bristles on it, and then you've got great length. It builds on itself nicely, but I'm gonna be honest, I don't have to apply a lot of coats with this. 1 coat is really enough. I knew talking about a mascara at number 1, because we all have different lashes, there would be people who would be like, oh no, I tried that, I hated it. You know, I can't please everybody with every product pick that I have, but for me, for the impact this has made on my makeup life, not to be too dramatic here, but this is really an amazing find for me personally. And I have heard from a lot of people who have lashes like mine who have also really loved it. So now, let's just keep our fingers crossed that this doesn't get discontinued anytime soon, okay? There you go, everyone. That's the top 10 eye products of the year for 2015. Next video will be all about lips. I love doing lip videos, so expect a lot of lip swatches, a lot of try-ons with that, and thank you so much for watching. I'll see you later. Bye.